It was an interesting moment for me at the time because I really wasn't seeking someone or anyone, I should say. I just hoped if I did meet someone that they would be a positive person to meet. Everything he was saying and doing was making me fall in love with him.
Fighting over custody. A lot of people quit going, that's just how it got to be. But she keeps on fighting and it takes a lot of guts. No justice, no peace!
You two are like two immature cartoon characters.
Objection. Where's any of this evidence of this?
Order.
I'm sanctioning you for $15,000.
I have a right to see my son.
This is all about a child. A poor boy born into a battle. Even with your lies, I gotta survive. Said I'm gonna survive, I gotta survive. Even with your lies, I'm gonna survive, gotta survive. Said I'm gonna survive. This is not justice! No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace! No peace! No justice!
You're trying to have a judge removed.
I'll sanction her for thousands of dollars for coming to court.
How much money is Mr. K and Mr. E paying you and your fellow judges to keep this woman away from her child?
Said I'm gonna survive, I gotta survive. Even with your lies, I'm gonna survive, gotta survive. Said I'm gonna survive, I gotta survive. Even with your lies, I'm gotta survive, gonna survive. Said I'm gonna survive, gonna survive.
Welcome to the Dr. Meleeka Clary Show on the Bold and Brave TV network. Well, we're coming live. Woo! Oh, yeah, we are. Oh, so I have to say, thank you, God, for getting me up this morning. I have to give him thanks, because things could happen. So I appreciate him getting me up this morning so I could do this show. And to say I love you to my children. I always have to mention to be grateful, but also it's always a struggle to do something in life. And I always want to remind people you're not alone because I have those struggles too. But you know what? Here's the thing that helps me. It's something that once I get up, I have to be my own cheerleader. I have support from other people for different areas, but I really always have to remind myself I am my biggest supporter and I'm my biggest fan. And I have to remember to cheer me on, whatever that may be. If that's to get up and have a better day or to tackle whatever I have to that day, I have to tune in to myself how important it is for me to be strong, think positive, try to get through today. Not tomorrow, just today. But here's the things that I say to myself, because we all have to remember to practice. Practice self-care. And that's not easy because, we all neglect ourselves sometimes. We get too busy, busy with doing something for others or business or busy at work or just busy. And we just neglect ourselves. So I always have to remind myself and constantly say to myself, Meleeka, you need to take care of yourself. You have to think about it, take a break, collect your thoughts, take care of yourself, your mind, and your physical. And today, that's what you're going to do. You're going to get anything that's on my agenda, you're going to try to finish it. And if you don't, it's okay. But you complete whatever you can complete that day. But don't be hard on yourself. Love yourself, because if you don't, you can't love others. And I have to remind myself that. And I think that's what you all have to remind yourself at time to time. It's all right. You don't have to be a perfect person. It's okay. I'm not perfect. But if I don't love myself, how can I love anyone else? And that's something you always got to remind yourself. You got to take care, number one. So when you look in the mirror, you say you are your biggest cheerleader and you love yourself. Whatever happened in the past, let it go. Deal with the future. Excuse me. Have to cough that out. Whatever happened in the past, let it go and deal with the future. And if you can't let it go, there's people like me, clinical psychologists, psychiatrists, wellness coaches that can help you, therapists that can help you do just that. And I mean, it doesn't, it's not a life threat to ask for help. If you need help, ask, because you can get help, because it's not easy to connect the dots. But what it is, and I say easy at times, is to change with help. Change. You don't have to be like what you was yesterday if you didn't like what was yesterday about. Be something different today. But you always have to start with loving yourself first. Because if you don't, I don't know how anyone else can love you. So you have to remember that is so important. And that's when you start, that starts as early as getting up. And that's how I feel when I get up in the morning. I have to love myself. So remember, look in the mirror, say, I love me, and you want to change something, change it. And if you need help, you can always get in touch with the drmeleekaclary.com was website. My email, my contact information is available. And you can follow my social medias as well. I'm available, or just Google me. And I will help you with that challenge because we're all in this together. And what I really want you to understand is that you're not alone and change is possible. Don't think you can't change. Change is possible. But no one better transition than yourself. Why? Because you want it and you'll make it last. See, it's temporary when you do it for somebody else. But when you do it for yourself, it's rewarding. It's something you did. So those are the things I want to leave you with. And I think it's very important for you to remember that. Change is possible. Get up and love yourself. Don't be in a rush. If you can't finish everything on the agenda, it's okay. But complete something and try to be as positive and talk positively about yourself. Because that is so important. There's so many people talk bad about themselves. You need to talk good about yourself. Because guess what? At the end of the day, you're with yourself. And you're stuck with yourself. You may have been 20 years younger. Now you got to get used to the older version of you. That's okay. Love the change, enjoy the ride, and keep on moving forward. Because hello all. Three Corners of Deception movie is now available on Prime Video. How about that? October 14, 2023, on my 50th birthday, I am going to release this, and you guys can go ahead and help me do just that. Go see that movie. Thank you for all the support and not giving up on me. Go see that. Three Corners of Deception. Release me from all the pain and everything I've been through. Go see the movie. Thank you. I love you all. Thank you for all of the support. Go see that movie. Prime Video. Prime Video. How about that? God bless you all. I love you all. it was really hard for me to do that movie sometime because at that time, because 10 years ago is what I went through. It wasn't then. So I had to take, even they say you play yourself. It's not really always easy to play yourself. You have to play yourself 10 years ago when your
Right.
mind was discombobulated and you felt betrayal. You know what I mean? You felt like, life was just not it. And, not in my situation. And it is based on true events. And, unfortunately, it's about judicial deception, but it's also about romance and drama and divorce. It's something that just went to a different way. But as I changed it and went into a movie. But what's interesting about this situation, people don't understand. It's a flow technique for me. That was my release to finish this movie. Welcome back to the Dr. Meleeka Clary Show on the Bold and Brave TV Network. Live. Okay, fam, we are having technical problems today. So I don't know what's going to happen. Hopefully I can get through this. We've just been having internet issues, but that's part of it. That's all I can tell you. It's out of our control, but we're going to try to get through it. And you stay with us. So before I went on break, I was talking about self-care. So remember, self-care is important. You are your biggest cheerleader, your biggest supporter, even if you have different supporters. But remember, be the best of you and support yourself. Even if you had nobody, you got to wake up with you. So remember to cheer you on. You're the greatest. You're a good person. And you can change anything you don't like about you. That's the power. All right. With that being said, I told you we was going to come back with Dr. Lisa Zaretsky because I want to know so much about her. But there's so much that she does. And we're going to ask her about those things she does. And then she can elaborate. Okay, so let's come in, fam, and let's welcome Dr. Lisa Zaretsky. Come on in here. Hi, Dr. Lisa. How are you,
Hey,
darling?
good to be back. I'm good. How are you? So happy to be
I'm
here.
good. Oh, good. Thank you for being here again. Last time we talked all about you, and I have questions because I know what cognitive diversity means, but not everybody knows what that means. And so,
Right.
if can you, because that's one of the things, and I'm gonna get down a little list of certain things that you do, because I have questions. So, can you what cognitive diversity means, because you are a doctor in that?
Yes, of course. So let me just give you a little background. So I first got my undergraduate in elementary and special education. And then I did my social work degree, my master's in social work, and became a clinical social worker and had all those licenses. And I also went back as a teacher of reading, and I got an academic certificate in gifted and twice exceptional education. So I preface all that and I say all of that because those are all different ways of how people learn and how the mind is and the brain is wired and how we take in information. And there's a large scope, right, or spectrum, as you will, of how the brain functions and how we're wired. And everyone is on that continuum. But there is no one brain that's the same, just like there's no one fingerprint that's the same, there's no one snowflake that's the same. However, we're programmed to believe because we're in an industrial type program in our educational system. They're still in this industrial, everything's the same along a factory line and we produce the same thing. That's just not true. And why so many people do struggle in school. And it's not catered to the different types of wiring and brains and individualized people that we are. And so cognitive diversity is really explaining all of that, the whole way that the mind and the brain works, the different variables, the different diversity of types of wiring, how people learn, how people function in the world. And also on that spectrum are neurodivergence, such as ADHD, autism, different types of learning differences, different types of what's called learning disorders or disabilities. Gifted is on the other side of the spectrum. Then you have people who camp on both sides of the bell curve, so to speak, and have this huge gap in the middle, and they're called twice exceptional, where they have extraordinary gifts in one or more area: academic, intellectual, athletic, music, theater, It could be anything. It could be something that's invisible, like interpersonal skills. And then they have something on the other end of the bell curve, like a neurodivergence, such as ADHD or autism or a learning disability. It could be a mental health challenge that they have
Yes.
or a mental health disorder. And so what happens is their developmental trajectory as a child and also as an adult, instead of like a neurotypical that develops synchronistically, they develop asynchronistically. And when that
Yes.
happens, there's all these different challenges in every system, academic, interpersonal, inside themselves in their own mind. They get the wrong messages, they internalize them. They have challenges socially a lot of the time, or some kind of social. It doesn't have to mean that they could have great interpersonal skills, but still not find their tribe, not find their belonging. And that can create social emotional challenges. It can create academic, intellectual, work, peer, I mean, just along every system of life. And so cognitive diversity covers all of that. I call it all things brain, all things mind, all things life.
Wow, that's amazing. You know, and
Mhm.
in culture, because that takes a play, and that plays a role, culture, because
Absolutely.
one's thinking would change by their upbringing too and their cultural background. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So it does help and it shapes one's thinking and also how they understand certain, I want to say, examinations. Because you mentioned something like that. You know what I mean? So if you're
Yeah,
sitting there and yeah, you guys you might be nervous because it's something that culturally you weren't open-minded or accepted to it or introduced to it, and so your mind is like, what is this? You know what I
it's
mean?
true.
But
Yeah,
yeah, it's
it's
just
very
going
true.
everywhere.
And not only that, what we find is that, depending on culture and what's acceptable in those cultures and what's not. So there's different cultures where differences are really not acceptable. And not only are they not acceptable in the culture, there's also what's not acceptable in the family. There's certain family expectations, and it's not acceptable to have that kind of difference. And that's just from lack of understanding and from the way the culture perpetuates itself in that kind of teaching and going forward. It's not malicious in any way. It's just they don't know any different. They only know in terms of what they were raised in their family and their community. And we find that in the schools a lot in certain cultures where there's certain expectations of how they learn and perform and behave, and
Yes.
if they can't be met because that child is wired differently, then there's punitive measures, or there's isolation. There's a lot of different problems, and there's a lack of understanding. And if there is evaluations, and if the school wants to do something and to help and support that student or that family, there could be a lot of resistance and a lot of blame on the child. However, I will say there's a culture in the schools as well, and there's a culture in our corporate world, and there's a culture in our communities, and there's a culture in the work environments, no matter what it is. And those also overshadow and influence cognitive diversity. So there's going to be expectations in every environment and in every culture, and people who are wired differently that may not be able to meet the expectations in the same way, or do it in the process in which it's expected but can meet those expectations, they can run into a challenge also. I was just talking to somebody earlier today about adversity and um, how to surpass, navigate adversity, and why I wrote the book, actually. And what inspired me to write the book on self hypnosis is that for about 40 years, I've been working with the neurodivergent, gifted, twice exceptional populations. And while neurotypical people face adversity all the time, also, the neurodivergent populations, the gifted and the 2E populations, they face it all day, every day, and they need tools that they can easily integrate into their lives, that's easily accessible, that they can do on their own, that are free, because it's very challenging to have to keep up the cost of all the intervention. And self hypnosis is one of those tools. And it could be done in a minute, it could be done in 5 minutes, it could be done in 10 minutes. It's very easy. It could be done with a recording, it could be done something you've memorized. And so I was just talking to somebody was it today or the other day, or maybe both, about that inspiration to write the book, because people who are cognitively diverse do face more adversity and do require more tools to get through the day, like you were talking about in the beginning of the show.
Yes. Thank you for elaborating that. And hypnosis, I do want to ask you about that because I think that's so it's people utilize it and I know it's effective, but I have never really spoke to anybody who actually practices it. So you're like my first person. So thank you. But you know what? Before I get in and dig in, I'm going to go on and take a break because I really want to know that because there is so much. And, we have addictions, we have different things that people, yeah, I know. I started counseling people with addictions and I'm just like, about hypnosis, but I would have loved to hypnotize everybody so we can get rid of things and help. But I didn't have that education or expertise. But for right now, we are going to take a brief commercial and we'll be right back with Dr. Lisa, the beautiful Dr. Lisa. We'll be right back on the Dr. Meleeka Clary show on Golden Brave TV network. I can't even talk today. It was because of me having a voice and saying something about what had happened to me because I can't believe it. I can't believe that these individuals put their good name and their reputation on the line just to hurt somebody because they spoke up. Yes, see, that's what happens when you speak up. I get it, but I'm not fearful because of that. Even though I went through a lot and still go through a lot of things, I got God on my side, and I feel like if that is not enough, then I don't know what it is. Because I'm still standing and I'm still telling my story, and I'm gonna keep on telling stories, and that is why I like film. Because film, you'll be able to express things that you went through, and experiences and people. You'll be amazed what you can do. Hello, all. Three Corners of Deception movie is now available on Prime Video. How about that? October 14, 2023, on my 50th birthday, I am going to release this, and you guys can go ahead and help me do just that. Go see that movie. Thank you for all the support and not giving up on me. Go see that Three Corners of Deception. Release me from all the pain and everything I've been through. Go see the movie. Thank you. I love you all. Thank you for all of the support. Go see that movie. Prime Video. Prime Video. How about that? God bless you all. I love you all. Welcome back to the Dr. Meleeka Clary Show on the Bold and Brave TV network. We're coming live. Ooh. Yes, come on back here, Dr. Lisa. See, sometimes I want to say Dr. Lisa Zaretsky, and then I'm like, oh, do I say it right? Okay, you know what? Just stay with Dr. Lisa. Play safe. Play safe.
Lots of people call me Dr. Lisa. All good.
Okay, good. But sometimes, I'm like, hey, but I try. That's my thing. I try to try. And you know what? I'm going to ask this question. Okay, so before we went on break, we were talking about hypnosis because I actually want to know about that. First of all, what made you go into hypnosis? And the reason because I feel like a lot of people who have addictions, they would like to be hypnotized of that addiction. You ever had that type of situation that people come to you and be like, I can't stop smoking or drinking or smoking weed if they wanted to, or anything like some habits, or swearing. How do you deal with anything like that, or have you? You know.
Yeah. Well, that's a great question. I'm going to answer it in a couple of different parts. So, first of all,
Okay.
how did I get into self hypnosis? I
Yes.
had a huge toolbox in terms of my approaches from all of my experience and qualifications in all the areas of education and all the schools and learning environments and teaching, and also from all the different mental health providing that I've done, and in hospitals, clinics, state treatment centers. And I've worked with a large scope of different populations and people throughout my career, and I do even now. And I have expertise in what I was talking about, that cognitive diversity, and I have expertise in that population I was talking about, twice exceptionality. We're on that both sides of the bell curve. And when you work with that population in particular, you see a huge range and scope of challenges that you need to work in. And part of that is neurodivergence, ADHD, addictions, and addictions tend to be co-occurring with a lot of those conditions, especially ADHD. And so I had a huge toolbox, and I was always seeking more and more ways to not just help my clients and people heal, but also myself. I've had tremendous trauma throughout my child and adult life, and always seeking what could, seeking healing, but also what can help me rise above more. And then how do I pay that forward? And I had a pretty big trauma, a couple of traumas within the last 5 years. And a dear friend who's a nurse practitioner talked to me about rapid transformational therapy. She said, just try it. So I did. And I had training in hypnotherapy before that. And that was just basic hypnotherapy, not with regression. And it was with induction, positive affirmations, rewiring, refiring, and then transforming. So she told me about rapid transformational therapy, and she did a session on me, and it was really profound. And what it does is it regresses, it bypasses the consciousness to get to the subconscious, right? So there's the defense mechanisms are bypassed, and you get to the subconscious mind where the roots, reasons, and causes of whatever is in your way and whatever is keeping you stuck, whatever is your block, whatever you want to call it, your presenting issue. It could be so many different ways to be phrased. And it's oftentimes not what you think it is. And when you go back, and then there's different protocols on how to release it and how to reinstall accurate positive beliefs, rewire and refire, transformation, and how to keep those neural pathways going. And so that was an intensive training, and I went for that intensive training and started incorporating it into my work. And I saw, okay, well, I had a 99% success rate. I actually developed a hypnotherapy coaching program utilizing that method and other methodology. As I said, I had a pretty big toolbox, and I'm always learning.
Yes.
And with my educational background also, I was really able to put that in my social work background, programming, curriculum, put this whole very intentional program together. And I'm very grateful to say I have a 99.9 success rate. And I've worked with a wide array of different situations, including addiction, with great success. And when I was working with them in the hypnotherapy coaching program, I realized, okay, I'm teaching them skills and strategies along the way. I'm giving them a recording, but I want to empower people to be able to, on their own, be able to work on their own minds. So self hypnosis is not, from my perspective and what I'm teaching about the regression going back, that's something to do with a trained professional that has a mental health background, a hypnotherapy, and trained in something like rapid transformational therapy. A lot of training is required for that. Trauma informed care training I really recommend also, which I have. So I really believe that, that's to be done one-on-one with the best practice and best case scenarios. But self hypnosis is something that chips away at that, and with intensity, frequency, and duration, really can have a very profound impact. And you can personalize the scripts to whatever issue is at hand to start building and rewiring and refiring those neural pathways, and shifting and reframing those beliefs that are causing those distorted or unhealthy thoughts that then create the
Yes.
unhealthy patterns and actions, and thus behaviors. And I created the book to do that. I have like 20 different scenarios at the back of just all different types of issues I've worked with, but I also made it fluid. So I went through the whole process of what a self hypnosis practice looks like, an induction, deepening. So, and then I had base scripts for each situation, which could be applied to your own personal situation, or you can bring in your own, because I give instructions on how to do that too. and then how to come out. So I broke it up, but now you can put it together in a puzzle in the way that works best for you and apply it and record yourself, or you can memorize it. It becomes very easy and accessible to do on your own and tailor and personalize to yourself, and develop a self hypnosis practice routine for yourself. To, like you were talking about earlier, self care. That's part of my self care routine. I do it every single day. I record based on, what's tailored to my needs at the time, and I will listen for a long period of time. I believe in intensity, frequency, and duration because that's what neuroplasticity is based on, and that's what builds the new neural pathways. So they say a minimum of 21 days to constantly and consistently listen. I'll listen for
Yes.
longer, and usually my mind will tell me, okay, time for something new to record. So that's how I got into it. And to answer your question about the addiction, yes. However, I've done the hypnotherapy coaching program with people who have had addiction, and it's quite effective. It's within 1 to 2 rounds, massive transformations have been made. I was just actually on the phone with somebody that came in last year and did 2 rounds of the program. His life has completely evolved and changed.
Mm. You know what? That's amazing. I mean, because I'm listening and things that you're saying, and I'm just like, yeah, wow. Get into the root of the issue, and then taking it apart, right there. What made?
Excavating it,
What,
actually.
yeah, exactly. Oh, I love it. I love it. You know what? We're gonna come back. We're gonna take a brief commercial, and we'll be right back with the amazing Dr. Lisa. Go nowhere, fam. We'll be right back. Do not go nowhere.
I'm a human being, but I'm not perfect. And I have my own flaws, but I'm working in progress. And if you're trying to change something, you're able to do it. You have the power, you have the key to your own success. And with that being said, I'm just glad that I'm able to do this and share other people's testimonies. And I'm so glad that there's many guests that I've already had on the show that have expressed their, challenges or what they've been going through or went through in their life. And I say that is because they're not perfect. So it's good that they express that.
Because you mentioned and said, I believe in God and I surrendered. And when someone is addicted to something, it's a challenge. It's tough. What was that moment that you said, I can't do it anymore?
Well, in book number 2, I talk about how I've been to prison. My prison number is 589931. I'll have that number for the rest of my life. It's just not a functional number. I talk about how I was delivered from a homosexual lifestyle. I talk about how I had a man that left me for another man. I talk about how I had a man that was HIV but never told me, but I'm sitting here today. I don't have AIDS, HIV. And I have a lot of people always say, your immune system was so strong. No, that was the blood of Jesus that covered me.
Welcome back to the Dr. Meleeka Clary Show on the Bold and Brave TV network. Well, we're coming live. We are still with amazing Dr. Lisa. Come on, Dr. Lisa. How you
Hey.
doing? You know what, before we went on break, we was talking about hypnosis. And you know what, when we was talking about addictions, um and I think you was mentioned, I said, well, we usually can deal with the root of the problem, because if I'm thinking something and it's not healthy for my mind, it's going to make me react negatively to not deal with it. It's like a void, you know what I mean? And I think that triggers people's habits. Like if I thought about something that I didn't like that had happened to me, then I just thought about it. Now that's going to make me take a glass just to drink because I don't want to think about it anymore. Because that's what it seems like, people doing something because they don't want to think about it anymore. But
Yeah.
essentially, you are still going to think about it because you're not drunk. Well, people can be drunk all day, all night, but there's times that it's going to wear off. And then,
Yeah.
but to
Yeah.
deal with it, and you're sitting there, you know, with a doctor in it or a therapist hypnosis, you can, in 101, you can get to the root of, hey, think about something, and you can actually get them to do it right in front of you,
Hmm.
and let's deal with it piece by piece. Is that something that you have dealt with?
Oh, absolutely. Because here's what happens. So, and this is all research based. So, as we go through life, We have
Mhm.
traumas or events that happen, and those traumas or those events shape our belief systems, and those belief systems shape our thoughts, and those thoughts shape our emotional patterns, and those emotional patterns shape our actions, and those actions consecutively become our behaviors, and those behaviors become our habits, our addictions, our patterns, positive behaviors, either or. And so when you do something like the hypnotherapy coaching program I was telling you about, where we really get to the root cause and we
Mhm.
excavate it and we release it and we replant life affirming, accurate beliefs, it has a domino effect. And we
Yes.
rewire and we refire. And we do this transformation recording also that they listen to for a minimum of 21 days, where it's does life look like without that problem, without what's in
Mm.
your way. And it's all their words that they gave to me prior. And we lay it out like a blueprint, and they listen to this day in, day out, day in, day out. And all of a sudden, like as they listen to it, it starts to manifest itself and they start to create it because the mind has changed. The neuroplasticity has changed. And I see it time and time again. The results are incredible.
Mhm.
And when you do self hypnosis, you're not doing that regression or going deep, but like you said, it does chip away at those faulty beliefs and rewires them to then rewire the faulty thoughts, the emotional patterns. And it also gives you tools throughout while you say positive affirmations. And I give suggestions and strategies such as breath work and other strategies and tools to make it ideal that you could either use in conjunction with self hypnosis or on their own to help have a really solid, great daily routine and practice where you are working on your mind on a daily basis to have the most optimal, healthy mind possible. And you don't have to
Wow.
ingest anything. And you don't have to go to, I mean, I always recommend best practice in conjunction with a therapist or a hypnotherapy or whatever. But this is a tool, self hypnosis, with the right instructions and the right um, practice that can really help your day to day experiences.
And that goes into your wellness coaching, correct? Too goes
Well,
right
yeah,
with it.
yeah, it's a great, I own a wellness company, and the whole
Mhm.
idea is redefining wellness so that you look at wellness from all aspects of your life. It's not just body, it's not just mind, it's not just body, mind, spirit. It's every aspect of your life. It's who you are internally. It's your family and how that ping pongs, and your family system. It's your community system and how those ping pongs. It's the school that you grow up in and you're working in, that ping pongs. It's your career and your work environment and that ping pongs, and so on and so on. All these systems you look at and you think of all these gears, right? And
Mhm.
when machinery has to work, so to speak, all these gears have to be in work and alignment, oiled, in good working order for everything to work optimally. Well, we're no different, and that's what defines wellness. And so we offer services that help individuals, families, organizations, and businesses have optimal wellness. And we offer the hypnotherapy coaching program, which is open to individuals. I work with children. We work with teens. We work with adults. We could bring this program into businesses and organizations to work with people there,
Mm.
leadership. We work with executives, employees. We do coaching and traditional counseling, which is more of that weekly thing, where it's a commitment and you come in and you work on things over time,
Mhm.
and you have goals and you have objectives, and we put in strategies to be able to meet those goals, and it's all tailored to the individuals or the place of business. We also work with learning
Yes.
environments, especially with consulting. So we also offer consulting in businesses, organizations, and educational environments and learning environments, where we go in, we do a needs assessment, and we see what's missing or what's going or why that system's not working. What in the gears are off that are creating these things, these small things, these buzz things that create bigger things or maybe big things. And
Exactly.
we'll either build programs to address them, we'll do staff training, we'll work together to build teams in a way, we'll do talent assessment and how do we harness strengths and how do we put teams in place that have cross strengths so that everybody's able to work together and tap off of each other's strengths to be innovative and creative.
Mm.
So we offer all of these services that are quite fluid, and you might contract Zaretsky Wellness for one of these services and then eventually move into another because it's so comprehensive. And I call it a comprehensive suite of services to be able to address the needs of all of these systems when needed and
Wow.
tailored to that situation.
That's amazing because I mean, you working on businesses, but you're also working on an individual. But not to
Mhm.
think that you can work with a group and then make them team leaders. And you know what I mean? So it's like you're just educating and helping them towards a positive environment and, well within the company. I've never heard it like that, but I like how
Yeah.
you spent that off. Yeah, that's
It's
great.
interesting that you
Wow, that's
said that.
wonderful.
Yeah, it's interesting you
Yeah.
said that 'cause I was actually just meeting with somebody who owns a company last week, and I did this. I have a specific intake form with very specific questions. He's like, I've never had anybody like ask me these questions before, and I said that's
Yeah.
because this is the rescue wellness way, right? We go
That's
from the
right.
inside out.
Always, yeah, I love it. I love it. It's always something you're going to learn. You know what? And I'm learning. Thank you for educating me. You know what? We are going to take a brief commercial. It's always running time. We run out of time. It's just
Mm.
so like interesting. I'm eating it up. We're going to take a brief commercial. We'll be right back with the Dr. Meleeka Clary show and with the amazing Lisa. Dr. Lisa. It was an interesting moment for me at the time because I really wasn't seeking someone or anyone, I should say. I just hoped if I did meet someone that they would be a positive person to meet. Everything he was saying and doing was making me fall in love with him.
A lot of people quit going, that's just how it got to be. But she keeps on fighting and it takes a lot of guts. No justice, no peace!
You two are like two immature cartoon characters.
Objection. Where's any of this evidence of this?
Order.
I'm sanctioning you for $15,000.
I have a right to see my son.
This is all about a child. A poor boy born into a battle. Even with your lies, I gotta survive. Said I'm gonna survive, I gotta survive. Even with your lies, I'm gonna survive, gotta survive. Said I'm gonna survive. This is not justice! No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace! No peace! No justice!
You're trying to have a judge removed.
I'll sanction her for thousands of dollars for coming to court.
How much money is Mr. K and Mr. E paying you and your fellow judges to keep this woman away from her child?
Said I'm gonna survive, I gotta survive. Even with your lies, I'm gonna survive, gotta survive. Said I'm gonna survive, I gotta survive. Even with your lies, I've gotta survive, gonna survive. Said I'm gonna survive, gonna survive. Even with your lies.
Welcome back to the Dr. Meleeka Clary show on the Bold and Brave TV network. We're coming live. Woo! We are still with the amazing Dr. Lisa Zaretsky. Come on in here, my dear. All
Hey.
right. You know what, Dr. Lisa, it's always a pleasure. I really, really appreciate you. I mean, the things that you was talking about, it's very informative and informational, informative, all that together because there's things I did not know. And, I mean, I guess I did know some things, but you sure summed it up with a little cherry on top. And I love that you did that. I mean, seriously, because you know what? All the years I've counseled people, and I've never really thought about going into hypnosis or anything like that. Only because I was like, it's kind of hard to change people, but I did counsel people and I did help them, with their addiction. But I always go through the root of the problem, just similar to what you do. But this 21 days going through it, recording yourself, it's kind of like reminding you, don't do that. You already know, play it. You know what I mean? So it's like, I love that. It's re-editing it. You know what I mean? You just, reminding the person, hey, no, wait a minute. This is your, here, listen to it. And that helps too. So that's something. It's a change, it's a change command there, and I really like that, because there's so
Yes,
many
that was a
people who
great way
want
to
to
say it.
help
It's
in
a
this
change of
world.
command.
It
That
is.
was really well said.
Thank you. You're welcome. And well, thank you too. And so for me to be able to help people more, these are things that I'm listening to, and I'm like, hey, you're educating me, and I'm just like, hey, I'm gonna run with it. It's something I'm gonna probably talk to other people, other clients, and like, okay, there's other things that we could do here, which is great. But I
Mhm.
also want to let people know that they can get in touch with you because you do telehealth as well too.
Yes. Yes, I do
Oh, because we
telehealth.
all
I
do
do
it once that came
telecoaching.
in. Yeah,
Yeah, and the hypnotherapy coaching
once we're
program
bored.
could be done through telehealth, all
Yes,
virtual. It could be in person or in virtual. Yeah.
yes. And the
Yeah,
reason I
absolutely.
ask that because some people don't want to go to the office, and you might have
Yeah.
somebody out of state, calling you. You know what I mean? Because now we could do this, by telehealth. It is great. I love it. I mean, kudos. If we had a negative to a positive because there's many people that we can help. So, can you explain your contact information so just in case people want to reach out to you, and they could of course check this segment out as well, but I know we only got a couple of minutes, so I'm just going to want you to your
Yeah.
website, your contact information, and how they can find you.
Yeah. Of course. So my website is actually changing in 2025. However, when you go to this website that I'm going to tell you, my current, that'll give you all the information when that changes. So right now you go to www.dr Lisa Lisa Zaretsky, Z is in zebra, A is in apple, R is in red, E is in egg, T is in tiger, S is in Sam, K is in kite, Y is in yellow.com. And you can go to contact me, and there's a form to fill out, and I'll get it, and I'll reach out to you, and we can have a conversation, and we can go from there. So that's probably the best way to reach me. I'm also on Instagram at Zaretsky Wellness. I'm on LinkedIn at Dr. Lisa Zaretsky. Feel free to drop me a message in either one. And I'm also on Facebook as Lisa Zaretsky. Feel free to drop me a message there as well.
All right, thank you, Dr.
I'd love
Lisa,
to hear from
for
you all.
being. Oh, thank you so much for being a guest on the Dr. Meleeka Clary show on the Bold and Brave TV network, and you have a wonderful
Oh,
rest of
thank
the day
you.
and the week to come. I appreciate it. You're welcome, my dear. And
Honor
all
and a
right.
privilege. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you. And if you're looking for the Dr. Meleeka Clary, you can catch me on Google, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, LinkedIn, X, all those social media people, or just Google me. I am there for you. And like I said, if I don't have the answer, guess what? I'm going to research it for you, and I'll find that answer or someone that can help you better than I can. So I will influence you to get in touch with me if you're having a problem or anything like that, or something. It doesn't have to be, a mental health issue. It could also be career path or something like that. Some direction, I can get you there. So, and thank you again to my fans again, and seeing the Three Coins Deception movie on Prime Video, still available. It's on there, and tuning into the Dr. Meleeka Clary show on Bold and Brave TV network. And I want you to have a wonderful day and a weekend to come. If nobody said I love you, I love you. I love your mind and your physical. So I basically want to help you with both and to be able to deal with every day. But let's do it one day at a time, one step at a time. Let's do that because I do the same thing that you do. Let's don't run down. Let's just stay where we at, one day at a time. And so, with that being said, enjoy. God bless you all. And I love you. Mwah.
You've been watching the Dr. Meleeka Clary Show. Tune in next week as Dr. Meleeka will help you shift towards a better life. But this show doesn't stop there. She'll provide helpful tips regarding surviving the entertainment industry and the judicial system with practical information. Thursday, 2 p.m. Eastern, here on the Bold Brave TV network.